Hello there, this is Cece with Going Solo, and today we're going to do something special. We're actually going to be doing the Meet the Author, and we're going to highlight the Author's Corner. And today with me, I have Trudy Griswold. Trudy is a spiritual author, a teacher for awakening women, public speaker, and a spiritual life coach. So welcome, Trudy.
Thanks so much, Cece.
It is a delight to have you on the show. I have personally read your book, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So what got you into writing? How did that happen for you?
You know, I had a spiritual awakening many years ago, and I realized that there were all kinds of angels, or I refer to all in spirit as angels. And they started sending love and support and healing goodness. And I realized how close they were and the feeling of being so safe and loving their energy around me. And as time went on, I realized that I had thoughts that were going through my mind. And in the thought, there were these positive, loving information and support. And so from that point on, I thought, why don't I try to write down all that keeps coming through? And I realized I could write what they were saying to me. I could ask questions. They would give answers. And in one of the writings that I had with my angelic group, they said, well, this is so easy, isn't it? And I said, it sure is. And they said, well, we would love it if you would continue writing with us, and we will help you teach others how to get a written communication from us. So that's how it all started. I said, well, if you're going to ask me to do that, then you need to help me figure out how I can teach others. And they said, no problem. We are always with you, child, and we will walk beside you.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, when you were younger, did you also have this feeling that you were being helped?
I grew up in the Midwest, and I went to Sunday school and all that kind of thing. And I must say, when I got to be about a teenager, I was one of those kids that everyone came to me and wanted to talk over their problems or talk to me about something they were trying to figure out. And I find that a lot of spiritual people, as the years go on, they had a very similar experience. And it was in that time of helping others that I realized, wow, where did that idea come from? Or that I remember having that sensation of this doesn't necessarily all just come from me. But I never dwelled on that. I just was busy living my life, and I got married and had children and worked in corporate America for years. Those experiences as a younger girl were part of the fabric or the makeup of my spiritual awakening over the years. And I can look back now and see that there were a lot of pieces that have come together that have helped me help others.
Absolutely. Now, tell me a little bit, because I'm talking to some people with regards to angels and all of that. And is this religion we're talking about? What is the difference if it's not religion? Can you explain more about what angels are?
Well, angels are God's messengers, and they work for God and do his work, whatever it might be. My work is not about religion. I certainly respect everyone's religious beliefs, and we all have our relationship with our God, and we need to hang on to that. These are not the easiest of times that we're living in, to put it mildly. A lot of challenges, and so keep that relationship with your God. My work really is a more spiritually directed, and I help individuals find out what their purpose, their path, their mission, why you're here, how you can make a difference on the earth. And as part of that bigger awareness or understanding of we all have a job to do for the greater good while we're here. You don't have to change one belief about your religion, but this is opening up the doors even wider to how can I help others, or how can I make a difference? We're here to help shift the consciousness on earth at this time. And it all starts with us, each one of us personally, individually. And even when you learn to be good to yourself or supportive to others, or whatever you're doing in your way, through prayer maybe, or through just helping people, others, that all adds up to making a difference on our earth.
Right. I find this so fascinating because even in my own life, I've felt guided at certain times. I
Yes.
didn't understand why I felt like I needed to do this particular thing, whatever it might have been. But I kept feeling like, okay, you've got to do this, whatever it is. I might have been fearful. But then there was this driving force that made me continue on doing some of the things that I even do now. And I look back and I wonder, how on earth did I ever get doing what I'm doing? And I love it so, but I just felt like I was being guided. And so when I was reading your book, it made me think about those moments in my life where I've questioned, why am I doing what I'm doing? And then I realized that I think I am being guided to a particular.
Yes. It's so true. Well, that's exactly our book, Angelspeake, How to Talk with Your Angels. I'm co-author with my late sister, Barbara Mark. And Barbara and I were on a spiritual journey together. She had gotten a written communication from her angels. And then I kept saying to her, would you write them and ask them this question for me, or ask this or that? And the angels wrote Barbara and said, Trudy can also write to their angels. All of those souls on earth can receive a message in writing. And all of a sudden, as Barbara and I kept writing and sharing the messages we were receiving, we did come to a point where the angel said, now please write a book about your spiritual awakenings, about what it was like to open up to this level of your life. And Barbara and I would say to each other, just like you're saying, Cece, we had to do this somehow. It just felt like the right next step on our path. It felt like the right thing to do. And we would say things like, well, we can't not do this. It's so compelling and it's so just right. So that's how our book got started, and in the mid-90s. And I'll tell you, since then, the book went to New York Times bestseller list, and over 1 million copies have been sold. And to this day, I think, how could all of that have happened? And the thing is, once we hook up with our spiritual team, with all their help, it's like there is so much help from them that we do, the right people, the right circumstances, the right events start to come into your life. And to try to do it on your own probably wouldn't work at all. We have to be part of the mix, but the real support system comes from this team of our guides, our angels that God assigned to help us, our loved ones that are in spirit. There's master teachers, guides. There are so many in spirit that are waiting to support us, guide us, and help us. So we're all really blessed to have all of this work.
Absolutely. I read, like I said, I read your book. It was a very easy read, very quick read, very well written, and very interesting. I really did like it. And I started doing some of the exercises that you pointed out in the book, and I found them very rewarding. I found things happening in my life, maybe, and sometimes I wonder if it's our own mindset that creates the difference for us, because when I started doing some of the exercises in your book, it tended to make a turn for me and not be maybe so negative. I started thinking a lot more positive. And so, you know what? It's kind of nice thinking that you have somebody walking beside you rather than someone pulling you back. So, I think that's a really good a great way to look at life in itself.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes. And I found as time went on that, yes, my belief system became, I've always been a pretty positive person anyway, but my beliefs and my trust level and my excitement about life and about the next steps on my path, everything began to open more fully, and I began to trust the process, and I would pray to God and give thanks. Oh, thank you for having this come together, and thank you for giving me the guidance. I find that the angels gave us a very simple formula for how to work with them. And they said if we learn to, as human beings, if we learn to ask specifically for what it is that we would like to have, do, or become in our lives, that gives our angelic team permission to be with us and to help us, because God gave each one of us free will. So by asking, you open the doorways to their help. The second, once you've asked, the second step is to believe and trust that when the time is right, things will happen and come together in the way that they're meant to. And then step 3 is to let go and allow the support team that's with us, our angelic team, our group, to bring all the pieces together. And then step 4 is to give thanks. So ask, believe, let go, and say thank you is really the way to hook in with our loving team and how to walk forward on our path.
Absolutely. And, I've been doing that, and I'll do it when I go to bed at night. Before I go to sleep at night, there's always that period of time where you're laying in bed and it's a little bit quiet. And so I'll do that. And what I'm finding for myself is that I guess in the middle of the night or somehow I'm dreaming. And when I wake up, I have a clear path of what I'm supposed to be doing. There's like something, you need to do this today. And so I'll get up and I'll write it down, or I'll get up and I'll start doing it immediately. And I'll wake up really early. I wake up sometimes 4 or 5 in the morning. And so I'll start working right off the bat on what it was. And just the other day, I'll share it with you. I woke up, and it's like right before I started to wake up, I started seeing a vision about Pinterest. And I'm on Pinterest. We're on, the station is on Pinterest. But I haven't been posting anything in a long time on Pinterest. And it told me that you really need to, it just envisioned all this I need to be posting on Pinterest. I got up, 4 o'clock in the morning, I started pinning on Pinterest and stuff. And I've had people now contact me because of Pinterest. So I think it's the way we're supposed to be. It's like, you know what, we've got helpers out there. Why not let them help us, So.
Yes. Oh, that is such a great story. I love that, because I too, let's say at night, I put out every Monday morning for people that have signed up on my website. I send a free Monday morning message from the angels, and it's in people's email when they wake up on Monday morning, and it's a great way to start the week. And what I've discovered is when I go to bed, when it's time for me to receive the dictation from the angels, it's not automatic writing, it is angelic dictation. I will say, okay, next month is May, for example, and I'll say, what would you please give me the Monday morning messages for the month of May that you would like me to write from your angelic team, and please help it be clear to me in the morning when I wake up. Same thing that happened for you, Cece. I wake up and all of a sudden there's this thought that's going through my mind, and I grab a paper and pencil or go to my computer and I just write down quickly and easily the Monday morning message for the month of May. And yes, they'll give us business plans, ideas, ways, directions to go in. And, we're still human with our free will, but I've never had something come together for me that didn't feel good or didn't feel right. It all felt just the way it needed to be. So we have to listen to our inner knowing and all to run it through that process. But, they will help with anything in our lives. It's amazing. Or even if I'm going to, like coming on the program with you today, I decided I thanked my angels, dearest. And by the way, we don't idolize angels. That's not the goal here. And I always pray, dearest God and angels, because God is our supreme being. Say thank you for having CC invite me to be on her program. And please help the program go well, and that I share all the information that you would like me to share. And Archangel Gabriel, you're the angel of communication. So would you please stand beside me while I'm on the program with CC?
Yes, it's really amazing. When I look back on a lot of things that have been offered to me, I'm just shocked as to where my life has actually gone, from being devastated through divorce to moving forward and just really loving what I'm doing. And I'm just so thrilled with it. Now, when I was reading your book, Trudy, there was a balance wheel in the book that I wanted to kind of bring to light. Can you share a little bit about the balance wheel?
Finding all the aspects of our life and being sure that each piece of our life is in balance is very important ultimately. Like, for example, I love what I do. I love being an author. I love doing readings for people. I love writing. I love all of it. And I got so excited about being able to help others. I found that I was working a lot because it was energizing me and making me feel better. So on my balance wheel, I had my work, my profession, and then I had my play time, and I had my body, mind, and spiritual time where I was feeding myself and everything. And that balance wheel, I decided I would put down how much time I spent in each of these areas of my life. So on one side of the balance wheel, as we call it, I was doing a lot of work, and I was like, my life was happy and things were going forward. But my playtime was not great, my recharge time. So I found I needed to maybe take time during my work day to play and to have time to relax and rejuvenate. And so I really want people to be conscious of getting the help from our spiritual teams on keeping everything in balance. That's a really important factor.
That's true. That's one of the hardest things in life is keeping a balance and being able to cover all the things that we need to cover, especially when we're parents and women. I think we tend to overdo, overachievers, and then if we have our own business, we're really off balance a great deal. And but so what I liked about your wheel is it had number scales. And what I would suggest to the listeners is go out, number one, and buy the book. It's called the Angelspeake Book of Prayer and Healing, How to Work with Your Angels. And then what I would do is I would turn to page 76, and there is the wheel right there, and all of the numbers in it. I would photocopy that. And then what I would do, whenever you start to feel a little troubled in your life or whatever, if you want to recheck yourself, you can photocopy it, circle the numbers on there where you're at, like each one of them, health. Okay, I need to do better in my health department. So I would probably say it needs improvement. Number 2, I would circle that one. And so when you start to circle these numbers, you start to see the areas where maybe you're putting a little bit more attention in and you're not putting attention in the other areas. And that will help you to create that balance in your life, because so often we think to ourselves, oh yeah, we need to do this, we need to do that. But when we visually can see where we need to go, we can start creating our journey. So I want to be a little bit healthier. And I know I need to work on that. and I can cover different areas in my life. So like you said, maybe you were working a little bit harder, not playing enough, but if you can visually see that, I think that would be a great idea. So I would photocopy that. I would do it every month and just look at it and say, okay, how am I feeling now? Am I giving time to my family? Or am I not giving time to myself? Am I not giving that one-on-one time that I need for myself? So it really visualizes it for you. So it's on page 76 in the book, so you've got to go buy the book.
Thank you. There are, what happened is once Barbara and I wrote Angelspeake, How to Talk with Your Angels. That was the first book, and it told people our experience of how we connected with our spiritual team of angels and all, and how to get a written message. And we started getting so many letters from people of, now that I know how to write my angels, now how do I learn to work with them? And that's when we were guided to write the second book, which is the Angelspeake book of prayer and healing that you're talking about, Cece. Mm-hmm. And that book, you're right, it helped us now that we had opened to all of this exciting and life-changing experience of communicating with our spiritual group, we realized that we really wanted to get our life in order. So one of the first things was, the balance wheel. And I didn't mention, thank you for bringing that up, but we have on a list of from 1 to 10, 10 being I am so balanced on this and I feel so good. That would be a 10. Number 1 would be, boy, I am so off balance when it comes to playtime. That'd be number 1. So it just helped. The book is dedicated to helping people open up to who they are as an individual, where they're going on their path, and how they can get more communicated with that spiritual team. The 2 books, frankly, are each one really solidifies that whole aspect of our spiritual lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Trudy, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, what we're going to talk about is how can the listeners really be in tune, and how can they be in touch with you and get in touch with the angels a little bit further that would benefit them. And also we're going to share with our listeners all of the other books that you've written and a little bit about what they're about, so that they can go ahead and maybe buy the books in a series and read all of them, so they can get a little bit more in tune with their angels and help with their guidance. So this is Cece with Going Solo, and you are with the Meet the Author's Corner, and we're talking to Trudy Griswold, and we'll be right back.
Gotta keep reading, 'cause this book's gonna be a good book.
Hello, everybody. This is Madam Coach Perea, host of the Love and Pillow Talk radio show. Watch every Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And if you miss it, you can catch the podcast. And thank you for listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network. Hello, everybody. This is Madam Coach Perea, host of the Love and Pillow Talk radio show. Watch every Wednesday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And if you miss it, you can catch the podcast. And thank you for listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network.
Gotta keep reading, 'cause this book's gonna be a good book.
Well, welcome back. This is Cece with Going Solo, and today we are highlighting Meet the Author, the Author's Corner. We have Trudy Griswold with us. She is the author of Angelspeake, Book of Prayer and Healing, How to Work with Your Angels. I personally read, love it, and I'm telling you listeners out there, I think that it would benefit you. So we're going to talk a little bit more about how can the angels help you, and how can you personalize going forward in your life, having the angels help you get through. So Trudy, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I always love to share with people. We've got so much support out there and help and love that's always available to us.
Absolutely. Now, if you're new to this, let's say you've kind of felt throughout your life, you've had a little bit of guidance, but you have no idea what it is. The listeners out there, if they're new, how do they go about trying to tune in a little bit with their angel? Can you just give us a couple little tips?
Okay. First of all, let me just share my website is angelspeake.com, and it's one word, Angelspeake, with an E at the end of speak, and angelspeake.com. And if you go on there, you will be able to really get tremendous information about so many aspects of who the angels are and working with them and how to get my book. But the most important thing I want to share here is that I mentioned before in the program, learning how to ask our spiritual team to be with us and your God and your all on high. Even our mothers and fathers or loved ones can come through in writing to someone, maybe someone that's passed over a while back. So first of all, you do have to ask, and that means say a prayer. And it could be a prayer of, dearest God and angels, please be with me while I write with you and help me receive your information and knowledge. So that would be number one, asking them to come in. Number two, believe and trust that the angels are with you and that they're standing around you. And with a paper and pencil, imagine them wanting to give you a message in writing. And so what you need to do is just imagine them leaning forward and giving you knowledge. And most people, I will tell you this, most people do not hear them. But what will happen is you will get a thought in your head. So if you would imagine them saying to you, dearest child, they love to call us by these sweet names or just dearest and then your name. Let's say if Cece was going to write, dearest Cece, we love you and then just keep writing whatever pops into your knowing. Whatever it might feel like you're making it up, that's okay. But you're not making it up. You'll find out as you continue writing with them. They'll give you information or knowledge. So we love you and write down whatever they say to you and then allow it to come through. Breathe deeply and know that they're giving you knowledge from your divine group. And so you've asked, you've believed and trust that they're there. You just allow them to write to you. And step 4 is to give thanks. And it doesn't have to be long. Some people get lots in their writings. Some people get little. But whatever you get, it's all we need to do is get the first written message and you're on your way. And they will be there once you say that little prayer. It's so easy.
And you have all of these steps right there on your website. And so it's a great tool for everyone to have. In my life now, I pay closer attention because often we'll have thoughts, right, to do certain things or just things that pop into our heads. And now I pay attention to them because I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's a message that I'm supposed to hear and I'm not paying attention to it. So I'm being a little bit more, I don't know how, I guess what I would say is it just a projection a little bit more. I'm just projecting more into it, starting to understand that maybe these are messages that are coming to me and to listen to them. So I really find it very interesting. And I wanted to also let the listeners know that you do various different things. You have a dream angel reading that you do.
Yes. Angels come to us in so many different ways, through maybe a song on the radio that reminds you of someone, maybe that's in spirit, or sometimes something will pop into your head and you'll think, gosh, I haven't thought about that person in years, and maybe that means you need to call them. There are so many ways that the information will come to us from them. So make sure that if you get a thought or an idea, to follow up with it. And they say there are no accidents, there are no mistakes in life, and so follow through. And boy, does that make a big difference.
Right.
Definitely.
You offer also, which I thought this was really interesting too, analysis, a writing and analysis for finances. So I think in today's time when people are being so challenged, be a very good thing for especially business owners and such. So how
Yeah.
do you go about doing that? I mean, is there a particular
Well,
angel for finances?
oh, sure, absolutely. I just refer to them as the angel of finance or the angel of, like I had said, Gabriel before, because Gabriel's the great communicator. And he was the angel that came to earth. Even in the Bible, it talks about Gabriel coming and giving messages from God to individuals. So it's like there's so many ways. I didn't follow through on your question about dreams. Angels will talk to us in our dreams, and sometimes they will give us a knowing. Sometimes we do have visitations from deceased loved ones also that are very, very vivid. And so also I really find that people that are looking, how do I really move forward on this? How do I step up and start making a difference in people's lives? Or how do I get going on my spiritual path? I do something called spiritual life coaching, where I work with an individual 3 months or 6 months, depending on what they want to accomplish. And we would speak on the telephone once a week, and it would be the individual, myself, and our 2 teams of angels. So that's the coaching. I run mastermind groups where people that are looking for their life purpose or their mission this lifetime, or where to step forward as to what's going on in their lives and how they can grow. The mastermind group is wonderful. That's a 10-week program. I do virtual work on the telephone, as well as I actually do workshops face-to-face. I live in Florida, Tarpon Springs area. So if you sign up to receive a copy of my newsletter, I do a monthly newsletter that will announce where I'm going to be and what workshops I'm going to be doing.
Wonderful. Well, this is very, very interesting, and you have a lot to offer people in a lot of different areas. You are professional in what you do, and it definitely comes through. So I would suggest everyone to please check out her website. It's angelspeake.com. That's ANGELSPEAKE.com. And you are talking with Trudy Griswold. And it's just fascinating what you do. I am just so thrilled to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit about, now you have 4 books out there, and I know I read one. You have one you started with, is it Heaven Beyond?
Yes. What happened was Angelspeake, How to Talk with Your Angels, was how to write them. Prayer and Healing was how to work with them. And then we started getting so many calls and emails from people that wanted to tell their story of how the angels began to work with them. And one woman wrote in about how she really wanted her whole life to have a little store where she could have books and, a gathering place for people, and how she wrote to the angels and said, "Angels, how do I do that?" And they gave her so much help on how she opened her store and how it was a successful business on Main Street and how excited she was about that. So people had the most fascinating, fabulous stories. So that's the Angelspeake storybook. And the final book is Heaven and Beyond. And this book is about how to talk with souls in transition and how to help individuals that are either getting ready to pass over or people that have already passed over, and how to get a written communication from them. So those are the 4 books, and you'll learn in each of the books how to get a written message from the angels. If anyone, by the way, does have a question and they'd like to call me, my email address is Trudy, Trudy, @angelspeake.com. And you can definitely give me an email, and I'll be happy to get back to you as well.
Well, that's wonderful. Yes, I think this is all very interesting. I really do feel that especially our listeners are singles, they're moving through their life, their paths are a little bit uncertain, don't know really where they're going. And it is great to know that you don't walk alone. You absolutely don't walk alone.
Oh, is that the truth? And we're never alone. And sometimes people do ask me about how do I find a partner or someone, or, an individual that will be a part of my life. And the angels, asking the angels specifically for the sort of individual that you would like, that would be of a like mind, or has similar interests to you, or is maybe someone that's good at finances, or a person that would love and appreciate you for who you are and your interests. Maybe you'd ask for someone that is spiritual. Learning to be very clear on what it is, or who it is, or how you come together, or whatever, is so important. And then turning it over to God and the angels and asking for their help so things will open up in the way that's best for you.
Absolutely. Well, that is wonderful. And I tell you, we're going to have a new show that's going to be starting in May, and it's with Stephanie Carter. And she does a lot of work with healing through the angels. And she's going to showcase each angel, talk about them, just a whole awakening for me. So it's going to be starting in May, and it's going to be very enlightening for us to understand more about the angels. And your book really helps us tune in to being able to communicate with them. So I'm just really glad that you were able to be on the show today. And I would suggest everyone, please go out and purchase her books. You can get them right on her website. They're right there. You can go on Angelspeake with an E on the end.com, and they're all right there. You can just go ahead and pay them there. Can you get them through Amazon too?
Yes, absolutely. Amazon.com, and they're both, you can get a hard copy, or you can, of course, get a computer download as well.
So that's great.
Yes.
Well, I suggest everyone to go out. I mean, I've read the Angelspeake Book of Prayer and Healing, and it's great. I love it. I'm going to do what I said. I'm going to photocopy that balance wheel, and I'm going to check myself out every few weeks and see that if I am creating a balance in my life. So I think it's wonderful. And I would love to be in some of your workshops and classes and things, because I think it's very enlightening. The more we can get in tune with ourselves and our depth of our soul, I think it's a wonderful thing, and it will help us to be able to guide us to go through the journey of life. So I think
you are so right. Yes. Having a spiritual buddy, I call them, like-minded friends or people that believe that we are being helped by our spiritual team, or maybe that's on their spiritual path, that having my sister to talk with initially, I first started opening to my spirituality, I didn't really know anybody initially. And then I kept asking the angels, please help me discover and come together with folks that think like I do. And it just made all the difference in the world, and it kept me going forward. So that's something that I think we all need to find. And going to workshops and reading books and listening to other people's talks and everything will really get the ball rolling for your listeners.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's very, very interesting. So now let's just go all over the books again that you have. You have Angelspeake, How to Talk with Your Angels. Then you have Angelspeake Book of Prayer and Healing, the Angelspeake Storybook, and Heaven and Beyond, Conversations with the Souls in Transition. So there's 4 great books out there that the readers can, read and kind of keep them close at hand, so they can start becoming a little bit closer with the angels and get some of those unanswered questions answered.
Absolutely. And we're so blessed to have this love and this support and guidance and healing energy, and life is good, clearly, just knowing when you wake up in the morning and when you go to bed at night that you can tap that wisdom and knowledge. One of the other things, whenever I do programs or teach workshops with individuals, the angels are always a part of what it is that they would like me to share with you. And one of the things they've just brought up with me, I just get a knowing inside that when I do readings, for example, for people, your angels talk with my angels and I pass through the information. But this morning they said to me, and don't forget to tell everyone about the inner knowing that lives within each one of us. CCU, I'm sure your inner knowing is getting louder and louder, isn't it, as time goes on?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's where within us, I was so thrilled when I discovered that within me, there was a place of knowing or a place of truth that lives within me. And it comes from my angelic team and my spiritual team of angels. And for me, it's somewhere in my solar plexus and in my heart. And when I say something or hear something or read it, if it feels good or right, or that feeling of, oh yeah, that sounds really good to me, or right, that's them telling that is correct. And pay attention and listen. So I know a lot of times in my work with people, when I do my coaching or my mastermind groups or whatever, they'll say, well, I don't know what's right for me. I don't know if this is the right way or the wrong way. And just know that if you ask your spiritual team to give you the high sign or the inner knowing, sometimes my heart gets bigger. It kind of feels like it puffs up a little bit with happiness. Or sometimes my inner knowing is goosebumps that run all down my arms and down my legs. So each one of us has that inner knowing. Pay attention, listen to it, give thanks to your angels for giving you that knowledge, and you'll find that your connection and your relationship with them will grow and get bigger all the time.
Well, that is wonderful. Well, Trudy, you have given us a wealth of knowledge today. Your books are just wonderful, and I'm going to definitely get another one and start reading it because I'm finished with this one.
Thank you.
And of course, we're local here, so I see you, and I definitely would love to attend some of your workshops and classes that you have, because I really do want to get more in tune with my spiritual side. I think that it's an all positive thing that we can do with our lives. So I would definitely, share this with listeners, and I hope that they will come on board and buy your books and get a little bit more in tune with their spiritual side.
Oh, thank you so much, Cece, for having me on. And I love stories and how things are opening for you as well. We all have that purpose in life, and there's a reason why each one of us is here, and there's no better doorway or team as to what that purpose is than our angels. So be sure, everyone, to sign up for my newsletter, Angelspeake.com, on the home page, top left corner. Put your email address in there, and it will automatically come to you, and I just am honored that I was with you and able to share the love and the wisdom of the angels. Thank you, Cece, so much.
You're welcome. Well, thank you very much. And being on our Author's Corner, Meet the Author, it's wonderful to be able to share these great books that you have. So I appreciate all that you do, Trudy. This is Trudy.
Thank you.
This is Trudy Griswold with Angelspeake. It's ANGELSPEAKE.com. Make sure you check out her website. Listen to all that she has to say, because she has a wealth of information. Make sure you read her books. Get her books and read them. Figure out for you, what is your balance wheel? How is it working for you? So make sure you get her book, copy that, and check that out each and every month for you to see how you're going. Are you going in the direction that you want to be in? So, Trudy, thank you so much for being on the show. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Oh, it's wonderful. And this is Cece with Going Solo signing off till the next time, and when we can speak with another author on Meet the Author, Author's Corner. Bye for now.
Gotta keep reading.